Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
You just create this big family and then you got friends for life. And like, who wouldn't want that? Like, if you're interested in making this your career and you're willing to wake up every morning at 4:30 for the rest of your life, like, just do it. That's my advice. Like, don't be scared. You're gonna love it. If you have passion for it, you're going to love it.
What is going on, everybody? Another episode of Turf Today, presented by Toro. Count on it. And this episode is being recorded on the Superintendent Network. We are starting to put some of the video versions of these episodes up on YouTube, so check them out. My name is Adam Kershane, and I am joined by Brian Laurent, who I believe is at home today. And we will be joined by the Assistant Superintendent at St. George's in Toronto, Canada, Amy Bultena, who just graduated last year at the University of Guelph, the Turfgrass Institute there, and she's already volunteered at some unbelievable tournaments, including the RBC Canadian Open and the Waste Management. We hope everybody's doing well out there. Everybody is in a different situation, whether you have year-round golf or seasonal golf and preparing for different things. Obviously, our hearts and our prayers are out right now with everybody that has been devastated with the hurricanes and the flooding and all that's gone on down through the United States. It hasn't been easy to see some of the devastation of some people's homes and some of the communities. So we're always there to help. If there's any golf courses or any greenskeepers or anybody in the golfing community that needs any help or anything we can do to connect you with anybody, please don't hesitate to reach out. We've certainly seen some of the devastation at some of the courses and heard some rumblings of some certain things going on, especially at Augusta, and we hope that everybody's okay. And we can only just pray for the best when stuff like that happens. And it's just another example of how Mother Nature is in charge, and there's nothing we can really do about some of that stuff. And people saying, well, some of these golf courses are going to be unplayable. Are you kidding? Or it's just another test for the greenkeepers and the staff to go out and show what we're worth and show how we can work. Number one is getting those communities cleaned up, and certainly once things are going again and people are back on their feet, get out to those golf courses and start working and start putting things back together. But it can be done, it will be done, and people will be bigger and better and stronger for it. So we're always here, and our hearts are out with you. Let's go on down, see if I was right. Where is he?
Hey, morning.
Back at home, the home office.
Living the life at home.
You're in Boston all week, weren't you?
Was in Boston. I got home Wednesday night. Made a couple visits out there. Played in a fried egg event on Monday, which was a blast. And and then finished off with some great course visits out there. So yeah, good trip.
You and I have been getting together for weeks now to do this thing. I don't know if I've heard you talking about a round of golf you've played.
I try not to play too many rounds anymore because I just get frustrated.
Yeah.
So
I understand. I know you've said that.
Yeah, I played a handful. I played, it was actually nice. I played twice last week. My dad was in town, so my son, my dad and I, and then my brother-in-law got out and played, and it was just horrific. So followed that up with a bad day. I mean, I've said it before. I've never had a bad day on a golf course with good people, but sometimes the game is better than others, and it was not a good day. But it's all right. We had fun.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right?
That's it. That's 100% it, man. Just getting out there and have a good time. So
yeah.
What have you been up to?
We had our first annual David Garrow Memorial Golf Tournament. My buddies passed away earlier this year. We have a big group of friends, and it was something that definitely rocked the group. David's got a couple young boys and a big family and stuff, and he's always a really great guy, great inspirational guy, a glue guy. So it was very, very difficult to be there, and we poured out a lot of beer and told a lot of stories and a lot of hugs and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think somebody said it later in the night, we would have never done this. We would have never all gotten together every year, and guys come from out of town and come in to see each other, and David provided us this day, and that's so special that we can all be together and do it and just enjoy the day. And we'll be able to do it every year now, and he's kind of provided us with that, so it's very special, right?
Yeah, it's still bringing people together after the fact, huh?
Unbelievable. Yeah. And then the guy,
Yeah, man.
it's such his character too. He so much service, he did so much for
Yeah.
the community and he's such a great dad too. So my heart just goes out to him and his family, but they're doing well and creating something like this. We raise a lot of money for his family and for charity, and it's just something that's going to continue to grow. So we're fortunate to be a part of it, as unfortunate as the circumstances are, but I think it's something that's we're turning into a positive, hopefully.
Yeah, that's good. And I was going to ask if you guys raised a bunch of money for the family.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think
Yeah,
those boys, those kids have a lot of uncles right now and aunts and stuff that are taking care of them and looking out for them. So that's very
sure.
nice. And
Good for you guys for rallying around and supporting.
yeah, yeah, it was a fun one. We played a scramble. So I played with a few of my buddies. They're not great golfers, but we ended up having a pretty good day. We were -6 on the 18th tee, which was a par five. I ended up smoking one down the right side and bounced into the rough. And we're looking at like a 5 iron over the water, over a bunker. And I'm saying, boys, we just got to get one up there. It's a par five. We can fluff one onto the green. We can make the putt. Like we'll get another birdie. We'll be 7 under. We'll be okay. They go water ball, water ball, water ball, and I'm up.
No pressure.
No pressure. But the balls were flying out, so I figured I'd club down a little bit, hit a 6 iron. I ripped this thing to the back of the green, just bounced off, and we made a chip that landed right beside the hole. So we figured, okay, we got to tap in birdie. And my one buddy's like, hang on a second. We bought mulligans. He's like, we've only used two. We got one more. Why don't we try and make this again? And I'm going, guys, like, we're not getting any better than that. Like, we're not making this shot. It's like a chip across the green into the hole. It's not going to happen. My buddy's standing there. He's like, I got this. I got this. He chips the ball, and as soon as it leaves his club, we're all like, "Oh my God." The ball tracks and rolls right into the cup. It was
Oh, no way.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was so exciting. We're all dancing
That's
around, running
awesome.
around. We're -8. We're gonna win this thing. And sure enough, obviously, as it always happens in a scramble, you go back confident, and yeah, we shot -8. Well, fuck you guys. We shot -10. So have a great day.
I was good. -10. Usually people are getting pencil whipped at like -15 and 16
Oh,
out
I
there.
know.
So
Well, I would say it probably wasn't a great field. I was probably one of the top three golfers out there, so that's
yeah.
definitely saying something about the skill level. But
Oh
no,
man.
great
Little
day.
help from above with the chip in, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. Couldn't
Yeah.
happen to a better guy too. One of my buddies there, and you know, I'm feeling it today. We had a few extra drinks, and I was up early on the course today, so I'm definitely feeling it. But man, great memories all around.
Yeah. That's awesome. Glad you all had a good day out there and did some good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And now we
Cool.
got the rest of the weekend to hang out and watch the President's Cup.
Yeah, what'd you think of that yesterday?
I didn't get to see a whole lot of it just because we were kind of at the course, but going
Yeah.
through the social media and seeing some of the highlights, like the Americans took it to them, like to go 5-0 like that. Obviously there were some mistakes and some choice plays by the internationals that they may have not wanted to do, but we'll kind of see how the weekend plays itself out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm hoping it gets a little more competitive. It's just one of those events. I love international competition like that, but man, it just didn't seem like there was a ton of energy yesterday. I'm assuming it's because it's a Thursday and things are just getting started. But yeah, hopefully we get a little more energy and gets a little closer from a point standpoint, so we get some good matches and some excitement.
Yeah, there was some stuff written about that yesterday, so
Yeah,
I'm hoping
really.
I'm hoping the Canadian fans take that to heart. We're pretty sensitive up here, so hopefully we take that to heart and show
Yeah.
up with some with some
Come on,
pizzazz
man. You guys
today.
got to show out here.
No kidding. Well, I was telling you, I got some buddies going down this weekend, so I think the weekend might be a bit different. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to bring it. It's a President's Cup. You got to have some fun, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I loved you may not have seen it, but the whole Scotty Scheffler, Tom Kim deal yesterday where they were going back and forth.
No, I
It
didn't see that.
got oh man, Scotty actually showed some emotion. Tom
Did he?
Kim drained a long putt and then Scheffler drained it right back on top of him. And Scotty turned around, looked right at him and yelled something. And it was just like, yes, let's go.
Nice. That's
So
good to see
it's
that.
it's awesome, and it's funny. They talked a little bit about it on the broadcast, but they're both members at Dallas National. We're doing this renovation project, so they're really good buddies, and I guess
Oh,
they play a
okay.
lot of golf together. So it was cool to just see that interaction, and they're friends off the golf course. But I think Scotty even said yesterday, he's like, apparently when we're playing, we're not friends. So there
That's
was one
awesome.
moment where I think it was, I can't remember who it was. It was Tom Kim, and I can't remember if it was Ben on or who his partner was, but they made a birdie on one hole, and Scotty had probably a 15-footer or something that to have the hole. Well, Tom and his partner, they just went to the next hole. They just waited on the next tee box for him to
Oh,
finish out, and that was like, and I think that caused a little bit of a rift with
yeah.
Kisner and Camilo Villegas. I can't remember how you say his last name. Villegas. Um, Camillo is one of the assistant captains on the international team, and I guess they got into it a little bit out on the course after that whole deal. But yeah, man, the gamesmanship in these things is always fun to watch. So hopefully we
100%.
get a little more of those antics here to kind of get this rivalry beefed up.
Well, it's like the season's over, right? They're kind of done. All the
Yeah,
big tournaments have happened. So this is kind of a fun one, right? Just get
yeah,
together and try and beat those guys and have as much fun as you can.
yeah,
Yeah, hopefully you want to see a competitive Sunday. Like nobody wants to see
yeah,
a Masters Sunday where someone's running away with it, or a Ryder Cup Sunday like we had last year where someone's running away with it.
yeah,
You want to be able to have a Sunday where everyone can sit down, get dialed in, be excited. There's a lot more betting on sports now too, so that makes it more
yep.
interesting.
Yeah, Riggs was out there from Barstool. So he got a couple pictures. I saw him post some stuff with they have bunker crews that are following each group, I think.
Okay.
So anyone hits it in the bunker, they've got some of their own maintenance guys that are out there. So he posted some pictures out there showing some love to the greenskeepers out there. It was pretty neat.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
man. Yeah.
I
Every
mean,
now and then we get some love, right?
yeah, yeah, it's good. I know some tournaments do a great job. They really
Yeah.
highlight everything. Other tournaments, maybe they're still a little bit behind with the times, or it's not something they know that they can highlight, or they don't think
Yeah.
people want to see. But I was actually watching Amazon Prime. They started the Montreal Canadiens. They did like a documentary about their year last year with their rebuild because they have a whole bunch of young guys, new coach and everything. And the whole docu-series opens up at their golf tournament, and they open up with a shot of all of the Toro mowers ripping up and down the golf
No
course.
way.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what am I watching right now? Like they're starting this docu-series with a turf like video. This is
Oh, I love
unbelievable.
it.
Yeah, it was really cool. Good to see a little highlight there at for something different, right? Why not just show
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, did you get some of that footage? Request some footage, send it over to the Toro folks.
It's not a bad idea. Not a bad
That's
idea.
awesome. That's awesome. Love it. So tell me about the our guest today.
So I don't know Amy. We've never met, but she has been one of the most requested people on the show, and we'll have to ask her. Maybe it's something she's paid a bunch of people off to get on the show. But
Yeah.
reading her questionnaire there, she's got a lot of experience, and she's still pretty young and sounds like pretty hungry. So I'm interested to learn more about her.
Yeah, no, I'm reading through her bio right now. For as young as she is, she's got some great experience.
Turf Today is brought to you by Toro. And did you know that Toro has a full line of work vehicles? Whether you're hauling materials, towing equipment, or shuttling VIPs, Toro has a vehicle for just about any need. Their Workman series is your go-to for power and payload capacity. The Vista series is perfect for guest transportation with a super comfortable ride. Plus, Toro has tons of options to customize your work vehicle, including all electric models. So check them out at toro.com.
Hey guys,
Amy, how's it going?
Hey, outstanding.
Are
We've
you
had
outside of the golf course right now?
I'm outside. Is it okay outside?
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah.
Sitting there on an Adirondack chair and everything. Look at
Yeah.
you.
I thought, why not? It's a beautiful day outside.
Yeah, you got a cup of coffee with you or what?
Oh yeah. When I start.
Oh, outstanding. Outstanding. I'm jealous.
I didn't know if she'd be a Starbucks girl or a Timmy's girl.
I was thinking the Timmies, but I thought I'd treat myself this morning.
Nice. Yeah.
You're not going to stay loyal to the Canadian brand?
Most mornings I do, but
Okay, okay. That's good. It's weird joking. I'm outnumbered right now. We got two
yeah.
Canadians on here, but I can at least brag about where we started the day off at the President's Cup yesterday. So I've got that going for me at least.
Are you down in Montreal?
No, no, I'm down in Ohio right now, so just got off the road. But no, it looks like it's golf course looks great. So
Yeah.
excited to see it. Hopefully, what's going to be a good finish. We'll see.
Yeah, some of the international guys got to pick it up a little bit, but it should be fun.
So you're not over there volunteering this week?
No, unfortunately not.
You had it enough for your volunteering?
Yeah, for now, we gotta get the winter roster up, get some more tournaments on the go here, but for now it's just closing down, putting the course to sleep.
Gotcha.
Right
Gotcha.
on.
So,
Okay.
Amy, tell us a little bit about yourself for those that aren't familiar with you.
Yeah, so I just graduated University of Guelph Turfgrass Diploma Management course 2 years ago. So I just completed like my first full year as an assistant superintendent. It was wonderful. Got into the industry. I was in massage therapy actually, and I was living out here in Toronto, going to school, and my mom was kind of harping on me to like get a job, and she kind of thought that I would be getting a job back in Guelph at home. And I just kind of came home. I was like, "Oh, I got a job at a golf course. I'm not moving home. Like I'm gonna stay down here." And needless to say, I kind of fell in love with the job, and all I wanted to do was stay there. And I never wanted to go back to school to do massage therapy. I was like, "Oh, can I just stay here?" And then it kindly turned into, "Oh, this is what I want to do with my life." So I broke my wrist and then had to drop out of massage therapy anyways.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
And then, yeah, the boys at my work, the assistant and the mechanic, kind of convinced me to do the 2 year, and I've never looked back. It's been wonderful.
That's amazing. Well, we really appreciate you coming on today, Amy. Brian and I were just talking. We don't know if we've had somebody that's been nominated as much as you have, both by people that have been on the show and people that follow and listen to the show. So it's great to have you on here today and to be able to tell your story. So just talk to
Yeah.
us a little bit about falling in love with that job at the golf course and kind of where it's taken you now.
Every day, like for the first 2 years at St. George's, I was pretty much just walk mowing every day. And it was just that getting up nice and early, seeing the sunrise, best thing ever. We can all agree on that. So yeah, I just kind of fell in love with walk mowing every morning and just meeting all these great people and like creating this bond. Like I'm still friends with people that I met my first year at St. George's 6 years ago, and they've all gone off and done their career things. So that's the best part about the industry. And so I was walk mowing every day, fell in love with that. And then every day I just wanted to like do more and learn more. I was like, oh, when could I do that? Oh, when could I do that? My third year, I remember one morning or one afternoon, my assistant came out and he told me I was gonna be hand watering. And I jumped off the table. I was like, yes. And I was like running through the shop. I was like, I can't believe I get to hand water. And 3 years later, it's like, oh, I was really that excited to pull
Yeah.
around a hose. But it was just that I always wanted to learn and do the new thing that I hadn't done. But now I can successfully say there's not one thing on the course that I haven't done. My assistants there are absolutely wonderful and they support me in like teaching me everything I want to know. I can say the only thing I haven't done is cut the 5 inch, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to get on that big mower and on those slopes. I'm such a morning person. I bring the energy in and I'm just like, hey, good morning, guys. And I'm always singing and dancing, and they're all like rubbing their eyes, still waking up. Yeah, so we hosted the Canadian Open, and that's what really kept me at St. George's is each summer it was like, oh, the Canadian Open. I got to come back next year. And then COVID hit. So then it got pushed back 2 years. So those 2 years I just kept coming back, and like, oh, I really want to do this. All I wanted to do was mow lines and my lines to be on TV on the T decks.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I went to school, and then for my internship, I was kind of undecided of what I wanted to do. I was like, do I want to go try somewhere out in the States or try a different course because it's just for your 6 month period in the summer. So I was like, maybe I should try something different. But it was like, no, that was the summer we were hosting the Open. So I was like, okay, I'll come back. And so I did my internship during our Canadian Open, which was incredible. Like, what an experience. And then they told me that I'd be changing pins for the Open. And I was like, huh? I just wanted to cut some tees and have my lines on TV. What do you mean I got to cut straight pins every day? So then I got to do that. And like weeks leading up, I had to like really prove myself, like show my superintendent Ian that I could like have perfect plugs. And so all I was doing for a month leading up to the Open was just plugging all the greens and making sure there was no scalp plugs or anything like that. And then he was like, okay, like you're ready, you can do it. And so that was a really cool experience too, that's for sure. And again, never looked back. I just love the excitement, and then tournaments. I just love, like, it's so much more fun to wake up for a tournament that early in the morning than to just wake up for an everyday shift. Like they're great, but a tournament is just so the excitement's there.
Definitely gets the juices flowing when you've got that competitive environment going on. So I
Yeah.
want to know, you graduated in 2023, just kind of getting to the end of your first full year as an assistant. What have you learned this year that you didn't learn in turf school?
I wouldn't say there's not much I hadn't learned. It's just more I've learned like the hands-on stuff. So my superintendent does a really good job each year. He kind of like wants me to focus on one specific task and get really good at that task. So this year I've been the spray tech. So I've got to learn like all the products we spray, why we're spraying them. So every morning he's like, I'm putting in the products and he's like, okay, so why are we spraying this today? At the beginning, I'd be like, oh, just because it's our biweekly spray. I don't know. And then each time I'm just kind of learning about, oh, we're adding dicamba in. Like, why are we doing that? And it's like, oh, dollar spot. Where do we see dollar spot and stuff like that? So I've really gotten, and I got so much better at my math.
Well, that'll help.
So the math is so hard, but once you get it, it's like so easy. And then you're spraying the same products every week. So you kind of can just do it at the top of your head. So I've just learned how to spray every surface on the golf course and kind of why we're spraying it. Another thing, I've just learned a lot of the managing. I think my hardest part with the managing, though, because I've worked there for 6 years, I just kind of view everyone as a friend. And I kind of find it hard to balance that like friend and manager kind of thing because I just want to talk and like make everyone's day. But at the same time, I got to be kind of like, okay, we can't be sitting for 20 minutes here. Let's keep the ball moving. Let's get this job done.
Expand upon that if you could, because I think that dynamic is always very interesting, especially someone in your shoes that's been there for several years. What's the good and bad of already having those established relationships from being and working side to side with them and then getting elevated to that managerial role?
In the mornings, I'll like talk to them as the friends and like kind of how's your life going? What's going on with you? But then like the second we kind of 6 a.m. starts and we get out on the course, I kind of try and step back and just like watch from a distance. And then like at lunch, I can talk to them again. But I really just try and like set boundaries. So there's a little story. We had a new hire this summer and she was a female and it was her first year working on a golf course. And so I train everyone on the golf course too. Like I teach them how to walk, mow, and all that. It was getting to the point after a few weeks of her working there, she started like texting me outside of work and like just kind of like talking girl stuff, boyfriends and stuff like that. And I would kind of have to like set it back and I kind of set a boundary of like, look, we can be friends on the golf course, but you can't just be texting me outside of work and that kind of stuff. Cause like you wouldn't be texting our other assistant, that kind of stuff. So I've really worked on setting boundaries between them and just letting them know, like, we're friends. Like, I view everyone as a friend. I want you to be able to come and talk to me about anything always. And like, I'm always there for staff if they're going through stuff or anything like that. But at the same time, I just got to like let them know we can't be like hanging out outside of work. Like, I'm really trying to build myself up to that superintendent level and don't want to like get mismatched. But it's like, it's a hard balance if you guys understand that.
It can't be easy, right? Like you've worked really hard. You've worked there for a while. You have great relationships, but talk about the challenges being, younger and being a female in this industry and trying to be, a manager.
It's hard, especially surrounded by all these men, but I've always considered myself to be one of the boys. And even when I was starting, like in the industry, that was the other thing. I was like, I always just wanted to hang out with the assistants and the AITs and the superintendent. It's like, I'm one of the boys, like, let me in, let me in. And now that I'm finally in, it's just a hard battle. Like, there's always like conversations that I just can't join in on, especially with females, just emotions. We hold a lot of those, especially me. So I find that's been something else that's been hard to manage, but I also have a wonderful superiors above me that really like understand me because they've watched me grow. Like I've been a different person every year I come back, which has been wonderful because I'm growing.
I want to go back to your tournament experience.
Mm-hmm.
How cool or how much of an honor was it to be cutting cups and then having family there?
So changing cup was a complete honor. I got to meet PJ Red. I always say his last name wrong, but he's one of the PGA agronomists. He does kind of Corn Ferry tournaments, and then he's the Canadian Open guy for us down here. So I got to meet him and got to work closely with him, and he really like taught me some new things about just fixing those plugs and stuff like that. So it was me changing the holes, and then there was another guy, Sterling. He was an assistant at Hamilton at the time, and he was my plugger, and he got to like help me on the greens. So I got to, since it was my golf course, I kind of made the rule. I was like, hey, I'm changing one and then I'm changing 11 to 18 because I'm doing the first hole and the 18th hole. And it was just like so surreal. Like, but the easiest job to have at a tournament because you don't get to start until everyone's already done off the greens and then you're the last ones in, which we always miss breakfast, which kind of sucks.
And you also have to be there at the same time though every morning too, even though you
Yeah.
don't get started till like an hour later.
And because it was my golf course, I had to be there before everyone to be staying
Right.
up in the morning. So I was there at 2:30. But it was so amazing. So Sunday comes around, and the Saturday night, my mom had texted me like asking, like, "Oh, do you think I could get out there?" Like something. I was like, I don't know. And then the boys were like, "Yeah, yeah, get her down here." And my mom's not the kind of girl who drives on the highway, so it was very impressive for her to come down all the way to Toronto. And so we got her in. And so the Sunday pin change, my superintendent and PJ were both like, we're going to wait to change 18. We're going to wait for a crowd to be there. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we get my mom there and we're going out to go change the hole. And normally my plugger would sit with me in the cart. He'd hold the hole changer so it wasn't bouncing around or anything like that. So I get in the cart and they're like, oh, Amy, your mom's gonna drive with you. I was like, huh? Who's gonna hold the hole changer? And my mom's like, oh, I will. And I'm like, okay, hold it very carefully. Like I was so worried. It was so heavy. I'm like, Mom, you can't do this. But there she did. We drove up to 18. There was like a whole entourage behind me of like everyone coming up to watch and videotape me changing the 18th pin. I got a great video of me changing that pin too. The RBC they took a video but put it to the funniest song. It was like kind of embarrassing, but it's the coolest thing. Um, but yeah, so we went up and we changed the pin, and my mom's just there, like she's tearing up. She thinks it's the coolest thing. And honestly, like just to have my mom there, like not many people could say their mom come and watch them do their job. So that was really cool. And that's like her proudest moment is like she talks about it all the time. And it was just surreal. Like I relive that experience all the time. And actually, so I changed holes for that, and then I just did the waste management tournament last February here, and I put on the application that I had changed holes, so they had me on the pin changing crew for waste management, and that
Nice.
just they came up to me at the orientation. They're like, Amy, so we got you on pins. Like, are you okay with that? And I was like, what? Like, I've never been here. I don't know your course. I don't know your hole changer. But that was really cool too to like have that I did it for my own tournament and now they see that on my application. So then now I have two on my application. So hopefully more tournaments I could do. I can get out there and change some pins or do some plugs. I love plugging. It's such a delicate matter.
One of the most important jobs on the golf course.
It really is. Like, because low, you're messing up the green; too high, you're scalping the greens, and then you got ugly plugs all over the place. So, yeah.
I'm glad you brought up waste management because
Mhm.
you've got to have some great stories from changing holes at waste management.
I mean, I shouldn't say I changed holes. I did the plugs, but
Okay.
I did get to change one hole. So I was on the front nine with a longtime worker there. His name was Bradley, and he was wonderful. He taught me everything. And they had a different hole changer. Now I don't remember the name of it, but it was like that silver one that kind of had like a crank to get the plug out. So that was
Oh
really
yeah.
cool to like learn that because all I knew was the Ohio or Hi-Ho or whatever we call it. Um, so pin changing at the oh, I got a story. So it was the Sunday morning. I can't believe I forgot about this story. It's final Sunday. We're going to change. I think it was like hole two or three. And we get up to I hear them on the walkie, and we get up to the green, and there is shit in the cup. And I
No
mean,
way.
it's flushed, full in the cup, flushed to the green. And I was just like, what the heck is going on?
This isn't 16 green, right?
No, I didn't do the back nine,
Oh, right,
thankfully.
right.
Yeah. So no, it's just like whole water too, something like that. And it was just flush. Like I couldn't believe how like who had the time to do that and touch that? And like why? But it's waste management, so
So fitting.
so that was crazy. So we put the little cane thing in to pull the cup out, and we just threw the whole thing out, and we
Yeah.
just were all like, bleh, bleh, like this is disgusting.
We got a
And
new cup out here.
Yeah. So we went got new cup, new tools, and went on about our day. But that was something else. Oh, so you guys know there was a lot of rain. So you guys had M. Casey on too.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of rain that season. And the most rain, like I couldn't believe I've never seen a course just not drain, but at the same time, they don't get rain like that. So,
Right.
but so since I was on the pin changing team, we kind of all the tee times got like pushed back. So then they would finish like around in the morning, which means we couldn't change pins until like 11 o'clock to reset for the next round. So all the volunteers would get to go back and have naps at the hotel and stuff, and I just stayed. So that was really cool that I got like really tight knit with their management team there and just kind of was like, okay, like if I'm doing this, like I'm really gonna do this. Like I'm gonna stick around, I'm gonna do my part. And they were like, oh, you sure you don't want to go nap? I'm like, well, no, this is the job you gave me. Like I'm here, full thing. So I would just be napping on the floor in the little tent till it was time to go. So then it was kind of crazy because normally in the morning, there's no people watching you change the pins. But every hole we went to is just surrounded by people watching you. So you really kind of keep your head down, ignore the heckling. There was a lot of that. Just everyone
No
yelling. Like
way.
that if you were on 16 or hole two. Like they were all yelling at you drunk. And so you just kind of kept your head down and were like, I'm just doing my job. And then you drive. People would like try. They had this cool thing on the side of their carts where they put the flag poles in. So
Hmm.
they were like always like straight against the cart. But then people would like be trying to like rip them off. Or like you're driving from hole to hole and you have this entourage and everyone's like stealing stuff out of the back of your cart and like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And you'd have to like run back and like, give that back to us. We need that. It was the coolest tournament though.
There'd be a lot of excitement, right? There's a lot going on outside of just doing some agronomy.
So much going on. And then they cut the alcohol sales off and
Right.
we couldn't get out until like 8 o'clock every night because there was too many drunks on the course.
That's when it's really important to make sure you're pulling your key everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There were a few that didn't. And so then you're always running after them. It's like, remember, we gave you a video. We told you to pull your keys.
Oh my gosh. That's fantastic. Would that be like your favorite tournament you've done, or you just say working at home soil was kind of your favorite?
Home soil, it just holds a special place in my heart because that was the first tournament I had ever done. And that's what kind of made me fall in love. Like it ended and I was like, oh, it's over? Like I just want to do more. So that's what kind of got me into my tournament trend. And now it's like anytime I see a posting on Twitter or something, I'm like, get me in there. So when I saw the waste management one, you guys actually like posted the form and I had just signed up, completely forgot I signed up and then got the email. They're like, oh, you're accepted. Like, would you come volunteer? I was like, oh, I forgot about this. But that
Perfect.
one's definitely my favorite. But then there's the Bahamas.
Yes, we were going to ask you about the Bahamas. That seems pretty cool too.
That also holds like just a special place in my heart because it's so different. Like you, not very many people are gonna get the opportunity to go out and do that. Being in tight quarters with PJ, I kind of had an in there, so I was just like, "Hey, Bahamas, what do you think I can get down there?" So they get you down there. They pay for you to stay at the Sandals Resort.
Oops.
You're like
Oh, wow.
basically on vacation. Then it's just so cool to see like different grasses and management styles and like a different shop like somewhere like way out there and you just don't even know what it's going to look like till you're there. But we had two walk mowers and we had every morning and every night, me and another girl from my program, we went down and every day we were just two-man walk mowing all the greens. And that one, it was just so cool. And the ending, they had this like crazy ceremony of the winner and it was like so like south, if that makes sense. Like the music and everything. And that tournament, I think, was a close second to Canadian Open, just because it's so different.
No, that's great. You had a lot of great experiences in your young career here. I want to kind of know what your career aspirations are now moving forward.
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't know if I want to be a superintendent or not. And I think that has a lot to do with me just still being at the same golf course I kind of started at, which I didn't even know what St. George's was when I started there. It was just a job. And then I found out it was like number one in Canada. Like, what a fortunate thing for me to start at and like have this great team behind me. But I've recently thought about it's kind of like my dream to kind of do what you do, Brian, in the sense of like I just get to travel and go to golf courses and really help them set up because that's like my favorite thing. That's why I'm always like filling up my winters with so many tournaments tournaments because I just like want to go and help and meet people, see how their management runs. Like I love to go to a new golf course and you meet these superintendents and assistants and they run things so differently than we do at our course. And I just love meeting people too. And so my dream job would to be do something like a PGA agronomist, which I know I'd have to be a superintendent first. So I'm kind of like in the air about like exactly what I want to do, but I'm kind of trying to narrow it down, realizing like I'm 26, I gotta kind of have some dreams and aspirations to like drive for. So the goal is to somehow, like, if I could make a company that I just travel the world and work golf tournaments, but somehow still get paid, that's the dream. Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know if I see it. You just seem like you're a really shy person, Amy. I don't know, traveling around. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
It's like, oh, I'm not described as shy normally.
No, it's just being, yeah, totally kidding around. You definitely
Yeah,
seem very outgoing. Like that would be a perfect fit for you to be able to go out and network and do that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So
I
good for you.
just love seeing new properties and just getting to help people. It's the tournament at like too, like just going to a tournament, seeing how things get done. I know I just said this, but it's just so it like waking up at 3:30 or 2 in the morning is just so much easier to do for that than to wake up at 6 a.m. and just go do your normal thing.
I'll tell you, it gets a little more and more difficult though when you're doing, 8 or 9 of them a year. That
Yeah.
gets a little old waking up at 3, 4, or 2:30 in the morning or whatever. It's the
Yeah,
first the first like 3 or 4 are really exciting, and then after that, it's like, oh, I'm tired.
doing this again, really?
Yeah,
That's why I like that I can do a few in the winter and then kind of I just did the Calgary Women's Canadian Open too. So
cool.
it was a nice like split up of the summer to just go out and do that and then come back to my normal day to day. And now it's like, oh, we're shutting down the course in a few months here and here comes some more tournaments.
Yeah.
Well, the tournaments are like the most professional, highest standards that we do in our industry, right? It's the top. So the fact that you like being there and in that mix and in that chaos and that professionalism, that's showing the type of person you are and where you want to be. So I would encourage you to just keep being yourself. There's a lot of people that love you and want to see you do well. Clearly, the amount of people that reached out to us. So, just keep being yourself and you're gonna figure it out. You're gonna meet somebody one day or you're gonna get a job one day and it's gonna work out for you. Brian
Yeah.
Brian probably didn't just start with the superintendent network. He's done a lot of different things before that, and it's turned into something that he's doing now, and kind of shaped the person he is now. So I'm sure
Yeah.
you just keep being the person you are, keep working hard, and opportunities are going to arise everywhere for you.
Yeah, thank you. That's one thing I've really realized about like going to conferences and things too, is as I talk to the older generation, sometimes I always feel like I'm behind. And then I like talk to people, it's like, oh, you didn't figure it out until like just now.
Hmm.
Like it's okay, Amy. Like you got time. Just keep doing and figuring out what you like and you'll get there.
Yeah, and just being a genuine person. You obviously have the work ethic, and just be a good person, and yeah, those
Yeah.
those stars are going to align for you for sure. We got a couple funny stories that you sent us, so we'd love to get into hearing about the golf course slip. What happened there?
So we have the Cushman U-Haul golf carts as like our staff carts that they drive around. And so they have two little clips that like stick in, and that's what gets the seat like attached to the golf cart. And I don't know what happened, but I went and picked up my hose at the back of the shop and was coming around the corner. And for some reason, those seat clips were not clipped in. So I'm turning the corner too fast, I guess, and the seat goes flying. But I'm sitting on the golf cart, so I go flying too. And then the cart just keeps going straight down towards the shop. And everyone at the shop just sees this golf cart coming up with nobody on it and no seat.
No seat.
And then, like 2 minutes later, here I come walking with the seat, just laughing, being like, I can't believe that just happened. But that story, and we still talk about it to this day. Like, we're always laughing, and nobody's ever done it since. So,
Yeah,
but
it's pretty
Thankfully.
impressive.
yeah, it's quite not something you normally hear about. That was a good day. I kind of rolled out of the car and was like, what just happened? And then off I went.
What about the greens, the walk mowing record?
Yeah. So I was actually talking with my assistants about this one, and it'd be cool to see if maybe you put a poll on about this or something. This doesn't include me, unfortunately, but we had two greens mowers that showed up. So we have 3 acres of greens on our golf course. And they showed up at 5 a.m. We set up two greens mowers for them, and then we set up two just in case anything were to happen to these two mowers while they're out there.
Smart.
And these two girls were so determined to get a record done on greens mowing, because normally we send out three greens mowers, takes them about 3-ish hours, finish by 9:30 is the goal. Some days they're a little slower, they take till 10:30, but so these girls were like determined, we're gonna break a record here. So we get them set out, 5:30, they go out. By 8:23, they were done, every single green. And I would just be cool to know if there's anyone else who is walk mode. I know the acreage evergreens at every golf course is a little different, but it would be cool to know. Crazy part is halfway through them out there mowing, we find out it's a back nine start and they're on the front nine. So then we got to send them back to the back nine. I'm like, sorry, girls, like you got to go. And they still finish in 2.5 hours. And I just don't think there's any other walk mowers out there that have done that. But it would be cool to know if there is.
How are they running? They're just running between holes, or
Yeah,
what?
they're just not sitting at the green. Like, don't pull up to the green. Don't sit on your phone for 5 minutes. Like they were just go, go, go. And like with that determination of trying to like do
Yeah.
a record and like do something cool like that, you just kind of have that ambition. But like I remember I was on a rough mower doing something and I see them on 10 and I looked at the time and then they finish. And I jumped off the mower and I ran straight to them. We're all jumping up and down. I was like, I can't believe it.
Any skippers or
Yeah, that's what
scalps
I
or
was gonna
anything, or was
say.
it was
No,
it clean?
they're clean cut. They're the best
Nice.
walk mowers too. So they did a wonderful job. And to this day, no one's broken the record at the course. I would like to
Nice.
try and do a one man, see if I can do it in the same amount of time, but
I go to a lot of courses, and I think it's still fairly rare that you see women working on the grounds crews. Obviously, something that there's been a big push for lately in diversifying the workforce and who's coming in. Just curious. I mean, you've mentioned several times now, the women on your team, and obviously yourself. I mean, is it something that you make a priority to make sure you're out there and finding a diversified um, labor crew, or is it just something that's kind of happened organically?
I mean, when I started there was always women kind of working there. And I think Ian really likes having females on the crew to do the walk mowing because just our detail, like our attention to detail and stuff like that. So I don't really know, but now that I've been a part of like the hiring process, they do really want females. And I think something unique about St. George's is we're in the heart of a city and have houses all around us, so high school right down the street. And so we kind of pick and choose. We do have a lot of men on the crew, but there's every year that I've worked there, we've had about 6 females just on staff to do walk
That's great.
mowing or a gardener. We've always have a gardener every year too. So we like the females, but then you notice that like, it's just like the men and the female. They kind of just separate a lot, but yeah, we take pride in having the girls on the crew. And now that I'm like one of the managers, I know when I started, there was no female manager and it was kind of intimidating to like have all these men. So now that I've kind of taken upon myself to kind of manage these girls and train these girls and like let them know that they can always come to me if anything's going on. Like I've been them, I understand what it's like. And if you feel like you can't go to the guys to talk about certain anything going on with yourself or like just please come to me. And I love having the girls there. It's really nice, especially sometimes like when you're just with the boys all the time. It's like, I just really want to be just a girl today, you know? So then I go and I chat with the girls for a little bit and it just brings me back to life.
Do you have to do anything different in order to recruit the women to come in and work for you?
No, honestly, we get females applying all the time. I think it's just because where St. George's is, we're kind of just in the heart of the city, like I said, and they're always applying. And now, come the fall time, we have a hard time getting staff for the fall, and especially females. So, but then it has me walk mowing every morning pretty much, and I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah. Well, Brian, actually putting two and two together here, I've worked 2 Canadian Opens now. I want to say 90% of the people walk mowing those greens were women.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know
that's
if that's
great.
just a Canadian thing we're doing up here, but yeah, and they were all really good too.
We train them and they get out there, but it's nice because it's not their career. Now I try and get some of them to be like, you're really good. Would you want to do this as your career? But no, they're always on to something like one of our best walk mowers is off now being a lawyer, so
Ah,
That's okay.
can't
nice.
convince her to
It's a
come
big
into the
transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I apologize. I don't mean to come off naive or anything, but I see a lot of places that I go that would love to hire more women on their staffs
Hmm.
and get them more involved, but they just can't seem to crack the code on bringing them in. So I
It
was just curious.
Yeah, it's hard to get the females. Like I didn't know it was a job, but I had a friend in high school who did work at a golf course and she kind of was like, Amy, like you'd really like this. And I always kept it in the back of my mind. And then I was like, oh, like I really like this. And so when the girls come in, like I always just try and remind them, I'm like, this is a really fun job. Like you get your exercise every morning. Like if you go home and you don't go to the gym, like it's okay. You walked all day.
Yeah.
That's nice. So you really need some women to kind of pioneer that, right? And it makes it more attractive if there are some women already working at the course. It's like, great, I'll have a few friends there. They can teach me, they can help me out. But if you're kind of the first girl to start working at a course, that's got to be a big weight on your shoulders. And for someone like yourself, or maybe some of the people you've learned from, that's really going to help the industry. And hopefully, we just get more and more women that are going to work.
Another thing too is I really like when we have females coming in for an interview, I like to sit in on that so they feel more comfortable knowing it's like
Nice.
you're not coming into a place with just men. So I think that kind of inclines. I mean, it's only been 1 year since I've sat in on interviews, but I think it encouraged more to come in.
That's great. So along those lines, then I think you're involved with the Women in Turf. Talk about that program and initiative.
Yeah, so Morgan, I always say her last name wrong. Cunnington, something like that. She's the Women in Turfgrass Management founder. And so when I was in first year, I had heard about it. And so me and the other girl who was in first year with me, we signed up. And it's just kind of a big WhatsApp group chat where we can all chat with each other. So there's a full one with all the mentors and students. And then Morgan will have like groups split up too, where you're just in a smaller group chat and then you kind of have a mentor in that group chat that's a female. Maybe she's a superintendent in sales or was in the industry and isn't. And so if you have any problems, like you can text in that group chat or just message them. And then there's usually monthly Zoom calls where we'll all meet together and we can talk about any issues going on the golf course or feelings we're feeling as females in the industry. And it's just the most amazing thing. Like, I didn't know that that was a thing when I started in the industry too. And so to have like all these females, and like when I started, I thought, like, is there girls in this industry? Like, am I going to be alone here? And now that I'm in it, like, there's a lot of us. We're just really spread out. So it's so great to have this thing that Morgan started to just let us feel like we have a safe place to talk about things of girls who get what we go through too. And yeah, and then there's also like with those monthly group chats, there's also like you want to host a call with just your mentor group, then you can get on with them and you can all chat. And then at conferences and stuff, we'll all meet up as a big group and we go out and do things. And then that Women in Turf is what got me to go to the Calgary Women's Canadian Open. So they hosted like the Women in Turf group and they picked like I think there was 8 of us that went down. And it's just this amazing thing where we can all feel safe. And so there's actually 3 first years in Guelph right now that are females in first year that I just found out about. Haven't met them, but I've reached out now and just let them know about this Women in Turf Grass Management program we got going on and welcome them into the group chat. So
I didn't know that was like I knew the Women in Turf program was a thing, but the fact that you guys have a group chat and you have Zoom meetings and stuff, you can support each other, that's fantastic.
yeah,
Like
it's
big ups to
really
Morgan and everybody that's running that thing. How many people would be in like the main group chat? Or how many women would be in that?
it's a pretty big group chat. That's all I know.
Hmm.
Probably can't count all the people in there right away, right?
There's maybe 30, I would guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
great.
always growing, right?
Yeah, always growing. So like hopefully those 3 girls from first year at Guelph, I can get them involved and I'm going to be meeting them at the alumni tournament here coming up.
You're gonna be there with your
Nice.
clipboard or what?
No,
I guess there's a funny story with a clipboard, right?
we think it's pretty funny us at the golf course. So one of our assistants, doesn't matter who, but he was out for a couple weeks, maybe 8 weeks. He had an injury and he just couldn't come to work. So all good. But that really helped me kind of get a step up into more management and just kind of helping replace those tasks that he would normally do that he's no longer there. So one of those tasks is just kind of the morning clipboard, which it's so silly that it's a clipboard story, but this assistant, it's his first day coming back. And while he was away, like I really got to do the morning meetings, like plan out the tasks and all this. So it's like, well, you don't get to come back and just take over and shoot me to the curb. No way. So it started his first day back. I showed up at 4:30 and I was in there writing the clipboard. We got to be there for, oh, sorry, I showed up for 5. We got to be there for 5:30. So then he comes in at 5:30. I got the clipboard done. I'm like, good morning and whatever. So I do the morning meeting. And then the next day I do the same thing. And then the next day he took it back. And I was like, that's not fair. So then the next morning I beat him in again and then went straight to our superintendent's office with the clipboard. So then he's looking everywhere for the clipboard and then finds me in the superintendent's office. He's like, oh. And then it got to a point where everyone's laughing. They're like, before you know it, you guys aren't going to leave this place fighting over this clipboard. And then Friday rolls around and I come in from doing hand watering or something. I can't find the clipboard anywhere. He took it home with him.
No way.
No
What a
way.
move.
You don't get this. So I go texting another assistant and I'm like, what's the password? Let me print out a new sheet. So I printed out a whole new sheet, got a whole new clipboard, and then covered the back of the clipboard with Taylor Swift stickers because I'm a
Nice.
big and then
Don't
I
touch.
beat him in again the next morning. And he just comes walking in from the shop with his clipboard. He's like, oh my God, I knew you were going to do that. I was like, no way.
Did the one with the Taylor Swift stickers stay now? Is that the official
Yeah,
one now?
actually, every morning they're using that clipboard still.
Nice.
Outstanding.
So
Outstanding.
it stuck. And it was so funny. He just was like, I was like, well, why'd you take it home? Like, this is my clipboard. You just relax. You're just getting back into things.
So hopefully you guys are still friends.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're a great team, but
It's all in good fun, right?
yeah. And like, again, it was almost like a tournament. Like, it was so much easier to get up in the morning knowing I was going to try and beat someone in and get to that
Yeah.
clipboard first.
Yeah. I've seen it before where people race each other to get there to be the first one to open up the gate. So,
Yeah.
the clipboard's another version of that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious. You mentioned, you're not 100% sure if you want to be a superintendent. How do you go about balancing and staying focused on your daily responsibilities when you're not quite sure if it's something you want to elevate up towards?
Great question. I think it's just still the drive and the care for the golf course I have and the passion for it. Like it it's it's not so like to me, like it's my career, but it's also just like I just love showing up and doing that stuff and learning all the new stuff. So it just keeps me driven and like I'm so passionate about making sure the course is like perfect and all those minor details of fixing stakes and stuff. And like just the team I have and they're always supporting. Like I kind of go back and forth. It's like, oh, I want to be a super, oh, maybe I don't. And I won't really know, I don't think, until I move on from St. George's, but I don't really plan on doing that because I'm just so lucky to be at such a wonderful golf course with such high expectations. And it just keeps me driven no matter what. Like I just want to go to work and do my thing and learn. And if that means I learn enough and one day I wake up, I'm like, oh no, I do want to be a superintendent, then I'll do that. And if not, but it doesn't ever stop me from like wanting to wake up. Like it's just turf. I love taking care of the grass.
Well, Amy, you're a listener of the show. You know, we talk a lot about education. We get a lot of advice from people that have graduated years ago. You know, you're somebody that's fresh out of a program right now. What advice would you have for people coming up and thinking about education right now?
Yeah. So I would think the best piece of advice that I got going in, like deciding if I wanted to do it, was like, Amy, you're sitting on a fence, just jump off the fence. Like if you want to do it, just do it. And I think that would be the advice I give you. Like if you're thinking about it. So we have a lot of staff now who one, I just got interested in turf and he just went and did the short course and now he's kind of one of us too. And now we have another kid who's up and coming and wanting to get in the industry. So I'm constantly like, don't be scared. Like it's the best industry. Like we are so privileged to have this wonderful industry that we get to work in. And so many people don't know about it. So once you know about it and you kind of want to do it, like just do it. So there was another assistant too. Like he's like, it's the best career there is. And now that I've like done school, it's the best career there is. And in school, it's not daunting. Like you have this family. Like my whole school year, like my class, we were the first class that was back in person after school or after COVID, sorry. And you just create this big family and then you got friends for life and like who wouldn't want that, you know? Like if you're interested in making this your career and you're willing to wake up every morning at 4:30 for the rest of your life, like just do it. Like that's my advice. Like don't be scared. You're gonna love it. If you have passion for it, you're going to love it.
I love it.
That's great advice.
Yeah. I'm reading a book right now about being bold and, just the ability to be bold and just step out and do it. And it sounds like that's kind of where you are right now. And you mentioned the relationships and the friendships and all that. And you've already mentioned, the relationship with PJ helping you find other internships in your early stages of your career. How have those peers, the network of the people that you've come across through school, through events or whatever, how are you relying on that network of peers during your early stages of the career?
I'm really bad at actually like reaching out to all my peers. I like to think that like if stuff's going on, I just kind of have to deal with it myself. But in this like past year, I've gotten better at just using those resources and like if there's things I'm feeling or things I want to do and don't know how to get to, I'm just constantly reaching out and asking. And just the networking of having these people, especially all around the world. Like now that I know people, superintendents in Bahamas and superintendent at TPC Scottsdale. And it just really helps you kind of figure out your path and like how to get into more tournaments and things like that. I don't really know what else to say.
No, that works. That definitely
That's
works.
that's the basics of it, right? You've
Yeah.
got people to reach out to
Yeah.
if you need help.
Yeah, and they're wonderful. And you just gotta stay in touch like at least once a year. I kind of make sure like how you doing? How's your course doing? And they do the same to me and it's so wonderful to and there's so many of us. Like it seems like such a small industry, but it's so big all at the same time.
So big and so small because, it's like, what is it, 6 degrees of separation, the old Kevin Bacon movie? I think in the turf industry, it's like, it's one.
Yeah.
Amy might be a little bit young for that one. I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
I nope, I'm just smiling.
Yeah. God, I'm showing my age.
That's funny.
Guess
I
you're
remember that
killing
one,
me.
Brian. You're good.
All right, good. Thanks.
So, Amy, this has been fantastic. We don't want to take your all of your time today. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about yourself? Anybody you want to talk about? Any advice you want to give? Like, no, what do you think?
All my advice I'd say is like, especially for people who are going to be listening to the morning, just make it your mission to make someone else's day better. And I think that it's just something that everyone's got to kind of live by. We're always going through something, and you never want to make it your mission to make someone's day worse. So just make it your mission to make someone else's day better. And yeah, that's all I got. Smile and keep going.
That's great advice.
Nothing really, yeah.
Great advice. Nothing better than starting off the day by helping someone else out and making someone's day better. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh, I was just gonna say, you guys should really try and reach out to Alicia Schwab. I know I
She's
put that in
awesome.
my question, but I know someone else also, a few podcasts, maybe. I think it was season one of your uh podcast here, but someone else mentioned her, and I was like, hell yeah, like get Alicia on here. She's just a hoot, and I think she'd be a wonderful guest. When I started in the industry, that was the first female name I heard, and they were always like, "Oh, she's superintendent. Like you got to meet her." And ever since I met her, like she's been a great support too, and I just think would help a lot of females out in the industry.
Yeah,
You got it.
she is great. I told Adam I had dinner, I think, with her at in San Diego. She's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing!
With her and
Yeah,
Mike Rollins. It was a good time.
great. So will you guys be down in San Diego?
We will.
That's the plan.
Perfect.
We'll
Mhm.
connect.
Hopefully, I'll actually catch you this time. Two conferences. I've never met Adam
Oh,
still.
okay. Yeah, we'll make it happen this year. We're planning on being somewhere specific, so hopefully we can meet up at that point.
Okay, yeah,
It's
that would
because you
be
can't
cool.
get to him when he's there. He's got this entourage around him of people like autograph seeking
Are
and
you
wanting
kidding me?
pictures and all sorts of stuff.
I
Oh,
can
okay.
He's tough.
imagine.
He's tough.
Okay.
The,
I'm always like, I gotta get out.
the goal is this year we're going to be stationed hopefully at our partner's booth and hopefully give an opportunity for some people to stop by and do some more little small sound bites and stuff like that while we're at the show and put a bunch of content together. So we'll be sure to stay in touch and we'll connect for sure.
Yeah,
hmm
Amazing.
And if there's anything that you need from us, if you're considering that, whatever the next path in your journey, your career journey looks like, if you have any questions about, what I did and going around and doing that and just creating, or what Adam did, creating what he did, we're always here to help. So, don't ever hesitate to reach out and ask questions.
I've always felt like I have a voice that I just don't know where it's going to fit in yet. So I'm hoping that this podcast is really going to help figure that out for me.
Yep.
I want to advocate for more females, or just try and figure something out that'll just make us feel welcome. So
awesome.
Nice.
If I have any advice for you, it's just jump.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Jump off.
Just do it. Just do it.
Well, you're sitting on a bigger fence now,
Yeah,
so
that's
you just
right.
gotta watch where you're jumping,
That's
but you
it.
gotta jump.
Yeah. No, there's water right in front of me,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
don't do that.
Act now, think later. That's my
Yeah.
life motto.
I like it.
Shouldn't be, but awesome. Amy, this was absolutely fantastic. It was a pleasure to meet you here on Zoom, and really, again, appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me so much.
No problem. Look forward to meeting you in the winter. Hopefully everything
Yes,
works out for
absolutely.
you until then.
Yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful day, guys.
All right,
Okay,
you too.
take care,
Amy.
Amy.
That was great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Bundle of energy. I love it.
Yeah, and she texted me a few times saying she was so nervous and stuff, and it's one of those things. There's like you're getting on a podcast to record, or you're even just getting on a Zoom to talk to somebody. It can be a little nerve-wracking sometimes, but I thought she did a great job. Really proud of
She
her.
did great. Yeah, she did a great job. And for as young as she is and early on in her career, she's got a lot of wisdom for being 26 years old or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't back down. Like
Yeah.
I'm probably one of those people that's just so persistent and just works so hard where it's just like, all right, she's just going to keep going. And that's what we need in this industry. We need people that are going to kind of be, like I was saying, pioneers, pushing the chains and leading the way. And if she can do that and also bring some women along with her, that's just going to help our industry out so much. So thank you so much for everything you do, Amy, because, being that young and already making an impact on the industry, I don't think you should sit there and worry about what's going to happen with your career. It's definitely going to play itself out the way that it's meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Good things happen to good people. And she's definitely a good person.
100%. I just wanted to say congratulations to Nate Briggs, who won the Toro Tuesday contest, that bag that we sent out to California. Some unbelievable posts that came in from everybody, and the more that we can keep promoting that amazing company, the more it's going to keep helping the industry. So from us and from Toro, we appreciate everything you guys put out there, and keep sharing all that red equipment, because it's very important for this industry, and we're going to keep putting out some giveaways and keep supporting you guys. So
Good stuff. Yeah, those are some great images that came through.
mm-hmm.
I should have put some
Nice
out
thing
there,
about
man. I'm not eligible to win, I guess. I don't know.
No, yeah, you would have quite the portfolio of photos.
I've got a lot, man. I've got plenty.
Yeah. They just start making burner accounts and entering all the contests.
Yeah. Dude, I've got so many bags and stuff though. That's the bad thing. I'm kind of
You don't need any more swag, eh?
yeah, I come home with, and I don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it, but it's like my kids usually end up with half the stuff that I bring home because I've just got so much stuff. But
Yeah.
it's a good problem to have, it's a really good problem to
Yeah.
have. It's fun.
Big industry with lots of friends. That's what
You got
happens.
it. You got it, man. It's the best.
Yeah.
Just like Amy said, it is the absolute best.
Wouldn't trade it for anything. I know although I was doing turf today, I spent almost a year away from the golf course, and it sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked,
Yeah.
everything about it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it just has that way of drawing you back in. So, all right, man. Well, have a great lunch with the wife. Have a great weekend, and we'll circle back next week.
Okay.
man.
Great job today, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Okay, take care. A huge shout out, as always, to Toro, our amazing sponsors. Hope you have a great week. You know what we want you to do? Keep those things sharp and turn this shit up.